Hello, good day. For today's lesson, I'll be discussing different tools that you can use for photo correction and enhancement. So these are the tools wherein that you can remove marks and spots on your photos, at the same time enhance your photos in different ways. Uh, you're going to start with cropping your photos and straightening the photos. So removing spots and marks. Uh, you're going to also use you're going to clone portion of the image and clone it or duplicate it on the photo. Okay, you can also you will also do sharpening of photos, so using the different techniques and different tools in Photoshop. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to enhance the photo with using different tools in Photoshop. So basically we have two files. So we have the for lesson 2 we have two files here. So we have the start file and the end file. So we'll be starting with the start file. So we're going to photo enhance and correct the photos and have an output which is looks like the end file. Okay, so there are let's open Photoshop. Then open those two files for us to compare what are the differences between the two pictures. Open both of the files for you to be able to compare what's the difference between the two photos. So we can arrange it. Let's go to window arrange, then we can tile two vertically so that it's easier for us to compare the two photos. Okay, if you're going to look at the photos on the left side, so this is our our start file, and the picture on or the photo on the right side will be the output or our end file. So what let's fit on the screen both. Okay, as you can see, merong white space sa gilid ng photo, or there are white spaces on the start file. So we're going to remove the white space here. So at the same time also sa wall, makikita nyo there's a crack on the wall. So pagdating doon sa end file, wala na yung crack. So we're going to remove those crack on the wall. And we have also mga spots here and also mga marks on the left side. So we're going to remove those spots and we're going to correct these photos. So also you can notice that the wall on the right side, the red portion or the red wall on the right side is medyo matingkad, or it's more vibrant compared to the start file. So we're going to enhance the color of the wall, especially the red portion here. So we're going to enhance the color or the vibrancy of the color. But if you're going to zoom in also sa cap dito, so it turns into a different color. So we're going to replace the color on the start file for us to be able to achieve or change the color here. Okay, so another thing is that the toy here on the which na nakasakay sa bicycle, so you have to duplicate this one. So it's just like a clone of this figure. So we're going to clone this figure to another one. Okay, so let's close the end file and we're going to start correcting the photos. This is our start file. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to straighten the photo. As you can see, there are white spaces outside of the photo. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove those white spaces, and at the same time we're going to straighten. Tutuwirin natin yung picture without having um uh to free transform it. Okay? So there's a tool in Photoshop wherein that you can crop and straighten the image. Okay? For you to be able to crop and straighten photos easily, so you can use the crop tool. So you can press C. Press C and look for, or you can look for the crop tool on the toolbar. So we have the crop tool here, or you can press C. Okay, so when you select crop tool, so if you're going to look on the option bar, so we have the option bar here. So you can on the left side of the straighten label, okay, you have the straighten the image by drawing a line on it. May button doon, yung straighten button. So just click, press the straighten button. So what you're going to do is you're going to start on the starting point. In this case, this is the upper left corner of the image. So we're going to remove the white portion of the image, or outside of the image. Yung white portion, tatanggalin natin yung nasa labas ng image. So click on the upper left corner of the image. Click and hold. Then draw a line going to the upper right corner. Then release your mouse. Automatically, it will straighten the photo. Okay? So, automatically, ni-straighten yung photo. Kaya na meron pa rin mga white spaces. So, we're going to remove the white spaces by moving the adjustments or the crop adjustment on the sides. So, tanggalin lang natin yung white space. Okay? Okay, if you're done, press enter. Tanggalin natin mga white spaces. Just, if you're done, kindly just press enter. Okay. So next is we're going to remove yung mga spots here, yung mga spots sa wall. So remove natin yung mga spots sa wall by using the spot healing brush tool. So just look for the spot healing brush tool on the toolbar. Okay, so this is the spot healing brush tool, or you can press J. So this is the spot healing brush tool. So just click the spot healing brush tool. So you can resize the spot healing brush tool by using the square bracket. Okay, increase or decrease the brush tool or the spot healing brush tool with the square bracket on your keyboard. Okay, so ang gagawin nyo lang is just stroke papunta or papasok dun sa spot. So just click and hold, then push forward to the spot to remove the spot. Okay. Take and hold, then move. Take and hold, then move. Take and hold, then move. Okay. So we already removed the spots. Okay, just clean up a little bit. Okay. Okay. So that is a spot healing brush tool. Those that can be used to remove mga small spots on an image. Okay, next is we're going to remove the crack on the wall. So what we're going to use is the patch tool. Okay. So under the spot healing brush tool, you have the patch tool. Okay. So once the patch tool is selected, so what we're going to do is we're going to enclose the pixels or the portion that you're going to patch. So in this case, we're going to enclose selection, freehand selection on the crack. So magdodraw tayo ng line, freehand, enclosing the crack. Okay? So once the pixel or the portion is selected, mapapansin nyo on the option bar, you have option na normal and content aware. Kasi we're going to move the selection, going to the portion na ipapatch natin. Okay? So we're going to click and move. Okay? So always remember that it is better to use the content aware. Kasi yung content aware, it will adapt to the portion na ipapatch nyo. Kung ito yung design or pattern, most probably it will adapt to the design or the pattern. Okay? When you click and drag, titik uli, you have the selection, just click your mouse, hold, then drag it to the pattern or to the design. So as much as possible, you can see naman kung ano yung mas malapit na sample. So then release. Okay, let's do it again. Click and hold, then move. Okay. Okay, deselect, Control D. Okay. So this is what we call as the content aware patch. So meaning to say, when you click and drag, so as much as possible, it will adapt to the design or to the pattern kung saan nyo dinag yung selection or saan nyo dinag yung patch. Okay? Para mas malinis tignan yung pagkaka-patch nung portion na yon. Okay? So that is the patch tool. Okay? So next is we're going to use the smudge tool. So kindly look for the smudge tool. So kasama siya ng blur, sharpen. So we have the smudge tool. So actually yung ginagawa ng smudge tool is you're going to pull pixels or color of pixels going to other pixels. Okay, let's say for example, we're going to remove the mark here. So instead of using the spot healing brush tool, you can use the smudge tool. And by the way, on the option bar, you have the strength, meaning to say this is the intensity of pulling the color. The higher the intensity, for example, this is 100%. This is you can always resize the spot healing brush, the smudge tool by using the square bracket. Okay. So this is 100% strength. If I'm going to pull, click and drag, going to the mark. Okay? So parang hinahatak mo yung kulay papunta dun sa mark. Okay? Para mawala yung mark. So the intensity is 100%. So meaning to say, mas malakas yung hatak ng color going to the other side. Okay? We can reduce the strength. And let's try removing the mark. So if I'm going to click and pull to the left, Hindi kagad siya nawawala because the intensity or the strength is only 23%. Okay? So, it will take me multiple brush papunta doon sa mark bago siya mawala. Okay? So, that is the smudge tool. Okay? So, next is we're going to intensify the vibrancy of the color of the red wall. So, patitingkarin natin yung red wall. So, we're going to use the sponge tool. Kindly look for the sponge tool. So, this is the sponge tool. So, kasama siya ng burn and dodge tool. This is the sponge tool. Okay, you can resize the sponge tool using the square bracket on your keyboard. You can press the square bracket on your keyboard to reduce or increase the size of the sponge tool. Okay, so once the sponge tool is selected, you have two options. You have the saturate and the saturate. By snapping saturate, you are increasing the intensity of the color. At the same time also, you have the flow control here or the flow value. So the higher the value, the intensity also increases. Okay? Mas mataas yung flow, mas mataas yung adjustments on the vibrancy of colors. Let's try this one on the wall. Let's take multiple times. Okay? Let's increase the size. Okay? So that is the saturate option. Pag desaturate, that is the reciprocal of the saturation. So, ito yung kung gusto nyo ibalik uli. Okay, to desaturate again the color. Okay, to go back to its previous saturation. So that is saturate and desaturate. Since we need to increase the color of the red wall, so we're going to saturate. So let's use 100% or let's say let's lower that one to 73%. Okay, click multiple times on the wall to increase the intensity of the color. Okay. Okay, there you go. You can always undo, multiple undo, Control Alt Z. Okay. Control Shift Z to redo. Control Alt Z to multiple undo, Control Shift Z to multiple redo. Okay. And by the way, by default, you are only allowed 20 multiple undos. So meaning to say you can just go back to or undo things 20 times because that is the default. Okay, but you have an option to adjust the number of undos that you can do in Photoshop. Just by adjusting it on the edit, then preferences, then click general. Then go to edit. If you wanted to change the number of undos na pwede nyo magawa, because by default, you are only allowed 20 undos, you can change it to higher value. Let's just go to edit, preferences, general, then look for the performance. Okay, so kindly change the history states. So the default value is 20. Okay, you can maximize, I can adjust it to a maximum of 1000 history states, or what we call, or you can do 1000 times multiple undos. Okay, click OK. So I mean to say, you are now allowed to do multiple undos 1000 times. But remember, if you're going to reset it to default settings in Photoshop, just like what you did on the first activity, so it will go back to the 20 history states, or you can only do 20 times multiple undos. Okay? So next is we're going to use the color replacement to remove the cap of the toy na nakasakay sa bicycle, or the toy riding the bicycle. So we're going to change the color of the cap from red. Let's change it to, let's say, orange. Just select the orange color. Okay, as much as possible when using color replacement tool. So you have to use if the color is a bright color, so replace it with a bright color para hindi masyadong obvious yung color replacement. If the color is dark, so as much as possible use a dark color color replacement. So you have to make sure that kahit papaano yung luminosity of the color is almost the same. Okay? So just look for the color replacement tool. So that can be makikita nyo sa brush tool. So you have the color replacement tool. Okay? So as much as possible, you can select the fine edge or fine edges. On the option bar, select the fine edges. Para when you stroke, let's say I'm going to maximize this one a bit. When you stroke on the color, kasi we need to change the color of the cap ng toy. Yung toy na riding on the bicycle. So basically, we're going to change that one. So use the fine edges para kahit paano pag in-stroke nyo, it will look for the confinement of the color on the edges of the image. Okay, yung tolerance, that's also the intensity of the color replacement. So let's say, just click and drag here. Oops. Okay, so we already replaced the color of the cap. So what's nice about color replacement is that it retains the texture of the pixel. So nire-retain yung texture of the pixels para hindi siya mukhang halatang pinalitan ng kulay. Okay? So remember, as much as possible, if the color is a bright color, replace it also with a bright color. Or if that is a dark color, so you can replace it with a dark color also. Okay? Control 0 to fit on screen. Okay, so we already now replaced the color of the cap. Okay? So next is what we're going to do is we're going to clone this image or yung toy going to another portion. So what we're going to use is the clone stamp tool. Okay, kindly look for the clone stamp tool or press S. You can press S for the clone stamp tool. Always remember when using the clone stamp tool, you have to get the sample. So ano ba yung kukuha ninyo? So get the sample before cloning it. So we have to make sure that you get the sample. Okay? You can always resize the clone stamp tool with the square bracket. Okay? Let's say for example, I'm going to clone this entire image here or itong portion na to, yung toy na nakabike. So we're going to duplicate this one here or clone this one here. So let's first get the sample. So for you to be able to get the sample, position the selection, press and hold Alt, then just left mouse, click, hindi ko press and hold Alt, then click, then release, then you now have the sample. So ang gagawin yung next step is position the clone stamp tool kung saan nyo i-duplicate or i-clone. Let's say for example dito, click and hold, then drag. Okay. Just brush to reveal the entire image. Okay. Okay. There you go. So already clone a particular pixel or image on the picture or the photo. Okay? So go back to the move tool. Okay, for the last one, so you're going to sharpen. So there is a way of sharpening your image. Just go to filter, then sharpen, then unsharp mask. Okay, then just adjust the sliders. Okay. Okay. So we already sharpened the image using the unsharp mask. If you're done, then click OK. Okay. So we are already done with photo correction and photo enhancement. So for your activity, kind of check your canvas and work on the start file and produce the output based on the end file. Okay, so that will be for today's discussion about photo correction and enhancement. Those are the tools that you can use for such correction and enhancement.